Alright guys, so last week we discussed my top 10 favorite cards throughout my run in NHL 19. I've spent pretty much this entire game trying to build the best team possible on all of PlayStation, and I'm pretty close, but throughout the way I've gotten to actually play with pretty much every high-end card depending on the time period of the game, so whether it be the 90 Legends and whatnot throughout the beginning of the game to the more high-end cards like Mario and Gretzky. So today I'm going to discuss the cards that I hated along the way. I'm No Sleeves 12. So let me start this video off by saying this does not mean that the card is bad. It means that either didn't fit my playstyle or the amount of money and coins required to actually obtain the player in combination with his performance was just trash, or for whatever reason he would just miss the net, didn't seem fast, couldn't get anything going. Again, this is all subjective, guys. I'm sure there's many players I'm going to list here that guys will love and still have on their team. It's just from whatever reason, they were extremely easy for me to replace because I didn't like them at all. And this is after, let me say this, guys. Whenever I have a player that's really good, highly rated, I don't want to get them off my team because, I don't know, I like having the shiny, high-rated players. So if it's a forward, what I'll do is I'll put him on the back end until there's literally, he's terrible on that too, and I just have to switch off. So it's not like I just put him on center, and then he doesn't work after 5 games, and that's it. Not the case, so let's start with number 10. So, number 10 starting off the list is the 90 Luc Robitaille. This is in combination with the fact that I had to choose between Naslund and Robitaille. I had actually already had Larionov. This is like way back in September, I believe, or early October. And I ended up choosing Luc Robitaille, and for whatever reason, I could not score with him at all. I should have chose Naslund because I ended up making him right after, and he ended up being on my team for a long, long time. Number 9, the Evo Taylor Hall. This card was a learning experience for me. So this is the first year I've really gone all into Hut and created content for it. I've played Hut for years, but this is the first time I've really kind of gone all in on it. And this was a perfect example of not knowing the market correctly. So I was one of the people back when Evos first came out that stated there was only really a few Evos that were worth it. I remember when they first came out, like Taylor Hall was one, McKinnon was one, Subban was another, and then there was like Kuznetsov and Panarin. And I went and did my homework and realized that Taylor Hall could potentially be good as long as he didn't hit all of his milestones all in 1 month. And if you guys remember correctly, I believe back at the end of November, everyone was hoping that he wouldn't score a goal, so at the very beginning of December, he would get his 91 overall. Well, I bought 2 or 3 of them at, I believe, 500K right before he was his 89, and he hadn't hit his milestone yet. So 3 days later, he got his 91 overall, and me thinking, oh man, I've scored this awesome card. I have a bunch of them, gonna make a ton of coins. And then I realized that every single person on the planet that plays Hut realized and did the exact same thing. There were so many Taylor Halls in the market that there was no value in him. And then combine that with the fact that he didn't get another upgrade and he's still a 91, it just made it a rough experience. And then on top of that, for whatever reason, I couldn't get him to work on offense. There was just better players always that came along on my team, so I tried him on defense, and it still was just, he had BU, he had a 90, he's a 91, but for whatever reason, I didn't like him at all. And to this day is going to be a learning experience for me when I play NHL 20 about Evos and whatnot, because yeah, that was a mess. Number 8 is the Andy Moog. Man, anytime that you see someone using Andy Moog, your eyes light up now. He is the perfect example of having a goaltender that, unfortunately high-rated, is just too small and can't make those incidental contact saves that a bigger goalie like a base Ben Bishop would. The grind to actually get him doing all those Hut challenges and whatnot in the offline objectives, it just was not a good reward for the amount of time you had to put in. I remember being super stoked early on in the game. I had an 89 goaltender, and what a big yikes. Number 7, literally any Victor Hedman card. I remember I actually re-rolled Victor Hedman when the game wasn't even out yet on PlayStation. I had gotten it early from EA. I had re-rolled him thinking, sick, I have one of the best defensemen in the game. Here is when you realize why in NHL 19, with the ratings rollback and making everyone a little bit lower overall when the game came out, as to how hard they hit defensemen, because they needed to make it, well, a good player, so an 85 overall was pretty much the max outside of a few players. but they needed to adjust some of the stats to make it so that, you know, they weren't better than forwards. So they nerfed shooting on almost every defenseman. Victor Hedman is a 91 overall card right now with an under 80 shot accuracy. Like, there's no reason why one of the best in the game and a Norris candidate pretty much perennial, that's a rip, yearly now, can't have a better shot. Like, it's just, it blows my mind, and every time I've used him, he legit can't hit the broadside of a barn. So I've had 2 of these cards, the base one, and I had the 89 because I thought I would give it a shot. Maybe the Hut Champs one is worth, but like, it's just, it was a big letdown, and this is a reason he's a perfect example as to why I use forwards on D. Number 6, the 91 free legend, Jeremy Roenick. The amount of time it takes to get one of these legends is pretty crazy. You got to log in basically 2 times a day and play a minimum of 3 games at least 10 days out of the month, I'm pretty sure. And I've gotten every monthly legend so far. This one lasted on my team, I think, a week. I'm not a big fan of Jeremy Roenick because he always bashes my Sharks, or specifically Marleau, so I guess that's why I kind of have a biased opinion on him. But he's a right-handed shot. He doesn't have top-end speed, and his shot's mediocre. Like, there's no way to use him at the end game. If you have him, obviously you're going to put him in your team unless you have better players, but it's just someone that I wouldn't, I got rid of very quickly. I didn't find him any use. I didn't find any use for him, and yeah, like I said, he was off my team pretty quick. Number 5, the 89 Dave Andreychuk. So when I was trying to make my Gretzky, I basically made all of the lower-end legends, and Andreychuk was one of the ones I made. I find him super slow. I can't turn with him or do anything. I mean, I didn't try him on defense because back then there was really no point, but I can't play with someone like him, especially on wing. I need fast wingers. You can't blow by guys with speed, and yeah, I found his skill set just didn't match the position that he was playing. Number 4, the 92 Dale Hawerchuk. I wanted this card for legit, I think, like 6 straight weeks. Every morning stream, I'd be like, okay, guys, we're grinding for the Dale Hawerchuk. Then something would come up, like a new set. Didn't matter. Something came up, and I would never end up getting Hawerchuk. Then I finally did. He had BU. He was a 92 overall, great speed. For whatever reason, I could not score with him. He dropped down my lineup, and then eventually was my second pair defense, and for whatever reason, I couldn't score the one-timers from him from the point. So he was more of a disappointment. I'm more mad that he ended up not being what I wanted him to be because I was legit chasing him for so long. But yeah, just a card that I did not find all that good. Number 3, the 91 Johnny Bucyk, back in late October, middle of October. Again, I was kind of creeping up to being able to make Gretzky, so I was on to the 91s, and I was like, Bucyk, BU, decent shot, halfway decent speed, I mean, for the time, and yeah, just completely poops his pants. I don't know what it is. There's a reason why he's always been undervalued in the market. This Bucyk card just does not play to his stats, and it sucks because, you know, he's a pretty big dude, got BU, and yeah, it was a big letdown. Number 2, the 91 Philip Forsberg. When this card came out, I was stoked because A, he's right-handed. There's very few good right-handed cards at the end game around Christmas time. There just wasn't a lot of good right-handed forwards. So I was like stoked. He's got BU, he's got the speed synergy. This is going to be great. He's got 95 speed, a decent shot, and man, he was down to my 4th line in maybe like 6 games, and then I tried him on defense for like maybe 10, and that was it. I told him to pack his because yeah, he was just one of the worst cards for me that I've played with. And finally, number 1. This one might catch some heat. It's the 93 Mats Sundin. I remember, I think I packed like a 91 Crosby, a primetime Crosby. It ended up being about $1 million. So I saved up my coins, sold him, and then I traded that in for the 93 Sundin, who was 1.5 mil because the packs that he was in, he was extremely rare. And that's the problem with some of these cards. The value to actually get them doesn't even come close to the value in the actual game. But I was like, man, he's right-handed. He's huge. He's decent, very good speed, a good shot. Like I was like, this is gonna be it. He ended up being my 3rd line center in December, and it was just like there was no point to him. I remember being so underwhelmed with him, and I don't know if it's because I'm just not good with bigger players, but I need that quick, agile. And he just wasn't it. I didn't like him at all, and I was a huge letdown because the amount of coins invested to get him. He's one of my favorite players. I'm from Southern Ontario. I have a soft spot for the Leafs, even though I love my Sharks. Mats Sundin was a guy that I watched when I was a kid, and I was like, this is going to be an awesome card, and Ended up not being, and it was a big letdown, and I'm still burned. But yeah, if you have Matt Sundin, or if you're trying to get him, unless he's like your favorite player, guys, there's so many better players now, especially now, that you can spend your coins on, and I would totally recommend doing so. It's just, I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. So guys, those are my 10 current most hated HUT cards so far throughout NHL 19. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think, if you guys use any of these cards still, or if you're, I'm completely wrong. But yeah, like I said, I've been blessed this year by being able to try out all of the top cards so far. And there was a few special mentions I want to state. The 88 Brett Hull at launch and the 87 Yari Curry. Everyone and their mother had those on their team, and I hated them. I only used them because they were like the meta. And man, I don't know if it's because I like the Sabres as well, and Brett Hull just like so. But yeah, man, I hated that card. But that was just an honorable mention. But anyways, guys, if you like the video, please like it and hook me with subscribe if you like my content. If you don't, let me know. I mean, I'm only going to get better if you tell me. So you guys have a great one. I will see you guys next time.